So there's this fun take that I would love to get from you, which is you are like a tournament poker player and you enjoy playing this. And I mean, like for folks listening, Ha's personal website is literally pokergirl.co. So she's like a huge poker nerd, I could see. Have you drawn parallels to product world, the tech world from the poker space? Like, would love to know that intersection.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think one day I'm going to write a blog post about like everything I learned from business, I learned from poker.
Yes.
So one thing for sure is taking risks, right? So I would say, after 5 years at eBay, I ended up taking some risks in terms of like going early stage. Like I love the early stage company building. And I felt like even though I was going to take a 50% pay cut, moving from like big tech, right, to
Mm,
the startup world, it was just something that like I could get my arms around and get passionate about. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't work out. But that's the risk that you take. I've always loved my career though. I've always felt
mm,
like, you know, that I was instrumental in helping to build, these companies from the ground up.
mm,
And, and so I think that like without taking some of those risks, I wouldn't have had, those amazing experiences, which I won't share today. I could go on, but like it was just some incredible experiences of building something that didn't exist and making, and building something special and putting it out into the world. I would say that another lesson that I've learned in poker is to get rid of your imposter syndrome and believe that you
mm,
belong, right? So there's so many times I'm the only woman, both, you know, around in the executive room, at a board meeting, and even
mm,
at the poker table, right?
mm,
And, you got to sort of play the game, like believing that you belong at this table, that you
mm,
have the confidence and sometimes the swagger, but but certainly the skills and the mindset to like play the game and play it well. So that's something that I've always embraced. Maybe I'm a little bit of a competitive person, but I've just never
mm,
shied away from like taking my seat at the table and playing the game well. And then finally, the another piece of advice that I have shared as it relates to poker is that sometimes if you don't like the game that you're playing in, it is
mm,
okay to walk away. And
mm,
so, sometimes like the game is too tough, and you want to like walk away from the poker table and play in a different game where you have
mm,
a competitive advantage and can win. For me, I found that, and I believe this so deeply that, in tech, we all have agency, right? And so if you're at a game or a work situation that isn't helping you thrive and be the best and like work for and with like supportive managers, executive leaders, and teams that, that have the right mindset, look out for you, like support you and champion you. If you're not in the right environment, then sometimes you have to like make the bold decision and take that risk of like knowing when to walk away.
mm,
And I've shared this publicly, which is like, there were times where like if I felt like I wasn't in the right game, wasn't learning, I wasn't being supported, whatever it was, or I was working for a toxic leader, it was time to walk. And even though the future at the moment is so unknown and it's scary, I've always found that it's always been more awesome on the other side. And it hasn't taken that long for me to sort of find the next thing that like more aligned to my mission, my values,
mm.
working with folks that had my best interest in mind, values aligned. And so I would say in some way it's those, I think, three things in terms of like some of the things that I've learned in poker that applies in the business world.